The other difference is Big Z. Like pools are like so much less stressful than what you're doing, bro. Like it's not even close, dog.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
Uh,
think of the pressure you have right now as summer is like slowly approaching us.
no,
Like
but
you
see,
have that pressure to like you have to take care of these people's pools. Like,
I cheat. I use algicides. So like it's not cheating. It's actually smart. I don't know why more guys
yeah,
don't use
you're not
algicides.
cheating.
Yeah, I like to use less deadly chemicals in my pools. I like for my customers to swim without like smelling and without the itchy eyes. Like that's my goal.
That's
So
fair.
I
That's nice.
use what's called like a Blu-ray, and it's really great. Like it's like a little copper tube with some silver and has like a special mineral composition.
Oh,
So you throw that into the pool, and then you basically can keep your chlorine levels lower than you would otherwise need to. You can keep them at safe levels and have the algae mostly. It'll stay away for probably like 4 to 6 months, and then at the end of that, you can just do like a nice little phosphate treatment, add a booster, and then you're good. There's guys out there who will just do phosphate treatments, and like that's great for them, but for
right.
me, I'm like, this is a
See,
little bit.
you take care of your customers.
That's it, baby. I want their eyes not to itch. For those of you out there, all right, I know we're a sports podcast. We're a little bit
I
off
got
topic
itchy
right now.
eyes.
You know
I
what I mean?
yeah.
It
I mean,
sucks, dude. We jump into a
oh,
pool, you itchy
dude,
eyes.
I have swam in pools, and well, I have very like sensitive skin to begin with. Just I've like always had like eczema
Delicacy.
stuff, all that
Okay.
stuff, and so I've gone in pools like as a child, teenager, and I like the next day I'm just like I'm broken out all over my body, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? What I gotta go.
So that's what started it. That's what started. Maybe I should say this for the podcast. Actually, I probably should say this because this is a really good story. I'll tell the story on the podcast. So YouTubers, stay tuned because we're gonna start the podcast like very soon. But that like there's a really good reason as to why I got into pools. Like one of the reasons that I really wanted to get more into pools than I already was. So
Dude, let's go dive in the deep end. Start that podcast and let's do it.
let's do it, baby. Let's dive. Let's dive in
Boom.
deep. Dive in
Boom. Let's
deep.
dive deep into that. All right, let's do this. Don't. All right, let's go.
Delicate Z, start us off, baby. What is up, everybody? We are back. It is your boy Fredo. Joined as always by my boy Big Z. Big Z, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, sports wise, I bummed. We had two bad things happen to us in our sports world this last week. The Lakers, the Kings last night. But in real life, in the normal Big Z's life, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We went to this. I don't know if have you heard of Touch a Truck?
No. What?
Yeah. So this last Sunday, they held it in Long Beach, but this guy organized like just like a bunch of big trucks, like so police cars, fire trucks, trash trucks, ambulances, dump trucks, tractors, bulldozers. He just like reached out to all these companies. They all park their trucks like in this huge lot, like by the beach, and they're just sitting there, and it's free. It's a free event, and all you have to do is like donate some canned goods. And we took Oliver there, and Oliver like loves trash trucks. He loves fire trucks. Like that's like his big thing right now. And you take them there, they walk around, they can go inside, sit down, hold the steering wheel, like honk the horns. And it's just like this massive lot of like 100 different types of trucks. And so we did that this weekend. So it was pretty dope, dude. I was
Dude,
like, man, I feel like a little child again. Like I want to go inside too, but I don't know if it'd
you're
be
just like shoving a
weird.
child, just like get out of my way. I'm
Get
pushing
out
the
of
horn.
there.
Dude, you're firing up Jason the Showman Strowman. If he's listening to this podcast, his son Theo loves, dude. He loves trash trucks. Like I've
Oh
been
yeah.
around. So he's helped us clean pools before, and it's like the cutest thing ever. Because he'll be like, "I'll take the trash. I'll take the trash." And so he'll come up to you with this like little net, and we got to empty our nets into his net, and then
Nice.
he like takes it, and he will make his dad put it into a bag and throw it into the back of the truck. Because usually we just throw it in people's like green waste.
Right.
He makes his dad take it with them home so he can throw it into their bin
That's
so
sick.
that he can watch the trash truck take it away.
Well, funny story. So as a child, I was obsessed with trash trucks. Like that was I would get up early every Tuesday morning and I would look outside the window and I'd be like, trash truck, trash truck, trash truck. And back then, early 90s, like
Yeah.
they used to have to like manually lift the truck or lift the can and put it into the truck. And then the claw came out, right? Like that was invented. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. And for the longest time, I wanted to be a trash truck driver. And still to this day, I'm like, I wish I was a trash truck driver. Those
Great
guys make a
benefits.
lot of money.
Great benefits. They can retire
Great
early, dude.
benefits.
There's,
I mean,
they get hazard
and
pay, I think.
and so Oliver now, like he loves the trash truck too. Like today was trash day, and we always open the door. The drivers know him, and he just says hi, hi, and he says thank you for picking up trash, and like they love him, and it's the coolest thing. So yeah, Jason, next year I'll let you know. You can bring your son, and they can touch the trash truck. They can go sit inside the trash truck. They can honk the horn of the trash truck, and it's the coolest thing, man. It was cool. So I had a good weekend, I would say. How about you? How was the you went somewhere? You went somewhere on Friday. Tell the people where you went.
I went to watch my Kings not try. I
But
went
but was it a cool experience
It was
beforehand?
great. It was so cool. They had like free face painting. They had like it was cool, man. They were just handing out towels. It was
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah.
great vibe. LA Live. Like everybody was hyped. All the Kings fans were like, "We're gonna win this series. It's gonna be dope. It's 1-1. Surely the boys are gonna come home and fight." But it was
Surely.
like a really cool atmosphere. It's always fun to go to a playoff game, whether or not we obviously lost, so it was a bummer. But it was still cool to be out there. Not everybody gets to go to a playoff hockey game.
Right.
And when you're a Kings fan, honestly, it's sort of like, I know we have 2 Stanley Cups, but every time you make it, you get excited. It's so funny. I have a couple friends who are like near and dear, and they're big Ducks fans, and they both texted me when they lost, talk their mess. And I was like, isn't it so sad? Because I text them when the playoffs started. I'm like, hey, who are the Ducks playing the first round? Oh, right. You're out of it. And like, we just get excited because our teams are so bad. We just get
Right.
excited to make
Yeah.
the playoffs.
There's no
Uh,
expectations
yeah, it's
at all. Yeah.
I was hoping we'd beat the Oilers because honestly, as we'll get into in a minute, like I did not think the Oilers were that good. I
You
still don't.
know,
I still do. I think they're gonna get mobbed. I really do. I think
you know what makes me mad? I agree with you on that, but I've been watching the TNT coverage, and they're just saying it's Stanley Cup or bust for them. And I'm like, really?
there's no way.
I've been watching other series, and they do not look nearly as good as
No.
any of these other teams.
No, it's
And
obvious.
I'm not even a hockey guy,
Yeah.
and I can even notice that. It's like you got Draisaitl and
Yeah.
McDavid, who's soft, and that's it. So
Right. I think
I don't
whoever
know.
comes out of Vancouver and Nashville is going to give them a
Yeah.
really, really hard time. Like just point blank. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be really tough for them.
For sure. My
Uh,
bad though. Yeah, tell me more. My
Yeah,
bad.
no,
I
you're good.
sidetracked
You're
that.
good.
I sidetracked
You're
that.
good. And then baseball happened. Jaden's team played really well. They actually mercied another team, so I was really excited.
Oh,
My
sick.
nephew was on the bump. Super proud of him. He balled. Like he was pitching on the bump, and he was like, my nephew. He was like, when he threw his changeup for a strike, and I was like, it's over because he throws gas.
Ooh,
And so
wow.
he was just making dudes whiff. We ended up winning 11-1. He pitched 5 innings. Mercy, it was great.
Wow.
Grayson's team put up a fight. They did lose by 1 run, had 1 bad inning, but Grayson pitched, and he pitched really well. He actually had a 3-pitch inning. So he pitched like 3 innings for us, I think, and he pitched really, really well.
Okay.
Unfortunately, defense, especially at that age, it's really hard for them, but it's a good learning lesson when
Yeah.
your defense lets you down. Like the last inning that he went in, he finished all the innings, but they got 5 across or something like that. And literally, they should have had 1 across because it was the easiest place to make, and it just didn't go the kids' way. Because kids drop balls, kids boot
Yeah.
balls. It's just
Oh,
they're
for
9.
sure.
That happens. And Grady's looking at me like, Dad, what do I do? I'm like, dude, you just keep throwing strikes. You're doing great. Like it is what
Yeah.
it is. That's part
Right.
of it's part of this, growing process. You just tell the kids like, hey, we had 1 bad inning. Unfortunately, that cost us the game. But hey, you guys played really well. So let's keep working on grounders. Let's keep working on pop-ups. We'll get it next time. It's just one of those things. But yeah, dude. So we're talking on YouTube, right? Before we move off of this, we're
Yes.
talking
Yes.
on YouTube, right? So if you don't know, check us out on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you want to see our beautiful faces talking to you and pointing at you and dancing during our intro. It's super fun to watch. So we were talking about how I got into pools, right? And I was talking about some of the things that I
Right.
do to make sure that my chlorine's not too high. And you were talking about like, oh, my skin gets super itchy and all that stuff. And that's actually why I got into pools. So we went on vacation, and I won't say hotel. I don't put anybody on blast. We went on vacation. I think it was up in Oregon somewhere, and my son got he got this horrible, horrible rash,
Mm.
like just welts all up and down his back. And I was like, dude, this is insane. Like, what is happening? And it would not go away for the longest time. And I remember being so bothered. Like that summer, my pool guy was pretty inconsistent at the time, and I had a pool guy at the time. I was not yet doing the side hustle, and so he was super young, And so I actually let the pool guy go. And I was like, I'm gonna start taking care of the pool. I grew up taking care of pools anyway. I also take care of my pools. You know, I take care of my pool. I take care of my friend's pool. Like that. I was also down for a side hustle. So I started taking care of my pool, started getting super into the chemistry of it, started really like finding out. That's when I found out about like algicides, adding them to pools. And I was like, wait, so these things can make it so that I don't necessarily need to add as much chlorine. You can use phosphates. There's a lot of choices for you out there as, you know, if you're taking care of your own pool. But that's literally why I got into the pool because it impacted my family. And we're talking about like why we do what we do. And I was like, man, like it really is an honor. It's sort of a privilege when people trust you with that stuff. You know, it makes it
Oh yeah,
makes it a
man.
lot more worth doing. So that's nice. I'm gonna go out tomorrow with a little bit reinvigorated from this conversation, Big
There
C.
you go. There you go. So my eczema and my irritated skin reinvigorated you because we had this conversation.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, awesome. That's great.
Delicate
I
Z,
feel
dude.
great.
Delicate Big Z.
Delicate skin Z. Yeah, that's
Delicate
right.
Skin Z, baby. So hopefully all you guys had a good weekend. All you listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna talk some, you know, NBA. We're gonna talk some NHL. Wrap it
Yes,
up some
sir.
NFL. You know, just keep it going, keep it going. But here we jump. We're jumping right in. So the NBA playoffs, Big Z. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I've been pretty dialed in. I did not think these are gonna be as fun as they have been, and I gotta say, I am all in on the Timberwolves, bro. Let me just start right there. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh, for
am
sure.
so here for what they are throwing down, dude. Like the way that fool dunked Towns, Edwards. I'm sorry,
No, Anthony Edwards, Ant,
Ed,
or as they
Ant.
call him over in Minnesota, Ant.
Yeah,
The
Ant,
Ant.
the
Yes.
Ant. When he dunked on Kevin Durant in that last game, I was like, "This is over. This is
Oh, it
game
was
set
great, dude.
match."
And I love it. It just they swept them, and no game was close. Besides, well, game four
No,
was kind of close, but Ant just took over, and you just see that killer mentality. You can see it
fire.
form in him as the game progressed. Because in the first half, he only had 9 points. He wasn't shooting the ball well. He was making some turnovers, kind of just being second fiddle to Cat, right? Like just
Right.
okay, you take the ball, like we'll figure it out. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
stand here. And then the fourth quarter came, and he's like, "No, like if we're gonna win this game, if we're gonna sweep this team, like if we're gonna put a stranglehold on this team, I need to take over." And he did exactly what he needed to do. And it reminded me a lot. And I'm not saying that he's Michael. I'm not saying he's Kobe, but it
Right.
reminded me of their mentality.
Right.
Right. It reminded me of like, no, I'm gonna take this game. I'm gonna take it, squeeze it, and we're gonna win this thing. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry, I got you guys on my back.
Right.
Let's go. I don't care what happened before, and I love it because his teammates thrive off of that. They,
Right.
everyone is in their place. They're ready for the ball if he passes to them, but they're just like, yeah, do your thing, and we're gonna win this thing. And I love the way that team has been constructed over the past few years. Everyone laughed a few years ago when they traded all those draft picks for Rudy Gobert. But now it's really being it's such a fruitful trade for them because he is one of the best defenders in the league. He's decent on offense. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. I love Michael Conley. We talked about him last week. That guy is such a great leader. And that was, I think, the missing link that they needed and the missing piece of the puzzle. And honestly, I think they beat the Nuggets. I think they beat the Nuggets in 6. I don't think the Nuggets are who they were last year. They don't have a bench like they did last year. And
No, they're not
you
as
saw
deep.
it. You saw it. Don't they beat the Lakers in 5? There was some chinks in that armor, right?
And they were close. They were really close. And I got to say, like, I'm not going to pretend all of a sudden to get to the playoffs and be like this NBA guy. What I am here for is like Edwards is hilarious, dude. Like he had the funniest interview. If you didn't see this with Karl Anthony Towns, they're sitting there talking to a reporter and he's literally saying like, you know, the reporter asked Towns, was it so nice in game 4 to finally put your stamp on the series? You know, he had like huge game drop. I think he dropped like 40, like, I don't even remember how many points, but he dropped like over 30, he dropped a ton of points. And he's like, wasn't it so nice to like really just dominate this game and finally have your game where it's like, oh, this is my game. And Towns like, yeah, you know, it's really great, you know, blah, 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 you know, and he's giving like the patent answer. And all of a sudden Edwards comes in. He's like, it's because he wasn't in foul trouble. You know? Yeah. And the reporter's like, wait, what? And he's like, listen, the only reason he hasn't been dominated is because he's in foul trouble. You know, and he used some, you know, choice language that I won't be here on the podcast.
Right.
But he's like, it's because he's in foul trouble. If he's out of foul trouble, they have nobody to match up with him. Right. And then Towns like, well, I think it was because, you know, I was in those earlier games, I was trying to play some really stout defense, and Edwards just looks at him with the biggest side glance and is just like, just stay out of foul trouble, bro. Like that's like,
well, that's the difference. I don't want to talk about this. Exact that there you go, man. That's the epitome of the difference the different styles those two have. Like if
Right.
they just had Cat and if they didn't trade for Ant years ago, like
Right.
they would not be where they're at right now because Cat, he's not able to take accountability like that. Like Ant is like, no, bro, like I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yeah. Stop getting in foul trouble, dog.
You're great, but this is why you're great. You're great because you're not in foul trouble. And I will remind you, I will keep reminding you. And if you're saying, well, the defense, no, you're not good at defense. You're great on offense, but you were able to stay on the court. So keep staying on the court and we're going to win games. Like that's what Kobe would do, right? That's what Michael would do. So I love it. Like you need two types of people on a team to be successful. They're both great, but I love that there's someone there to keep someone accountable like Cat. Because Cat's a big guy. He's a big name, right?
I gotta say, by the way, for any Suns fans talking mess about, the Lakers lost too. Our series was close. Okay, I know it's 4-1, but every game was close. Like it felt like
70% of the series.
Right,
we literally led 70% of the series.
Every game in that felt like a classic. Like if you watch that series, you enjoyed every single game because it came down to the wire, came down to a last remarkable shot. And I agree with you, dude. I really think the Timberwolves, Edwards. I mean, Cat. You said what?
Yeah, Carl Anthony Towns.
No, Ant, as you called him.
Ant.
Yeah, that's how little I know about what I'm talking about here. But he already came out and said like we're getting revenge for LeBron. So I love it. I'm all in on Timberwolves.
Right.
I love their team going back like Kevin Garnett days. I love that they keep showing that.
Their first win in 20 years, their first series win. That's pretty cool.
That's super exciting. We don't know how good the Thunder is because the Pelicans just laid down. Like, granted, the Thunder's played well. I tuned into that series and it was easily the most boring series. It never felt close. It never felt close. And I don't know how good the Thunder are because they were just able to run their off. Like they were never, I feel like in the Timberwolves, at least, yes, a lot of games were blowouts, but you could see the Suns fighting back and the Timberwolves having to fight. Like, okay, Edwards is our guy. Like I didn't feel like the Thunder had obviously their leading scorer, the guard. I'm blanking on his name, but again, like you felt like
Zion was out. Zion was like, he's their best player.
Right.
Zion was out the whole series.
Zion was out, but well. And Shy played great for the Thunder. Like I'm not trying to take anything away from him. All I'm saying is we don't know how good this team is. That's all.
Yeah, no, they haven't been tested yet, is what you're saying. Right. That's all you're saying. Like, and they did what they should have done. Like if Zion Williamson is on the other team and he's not playing the whole series, like you should beat the 8 seed by an average of 15 points per game. And
you should dominate them. Yeah,
you should. And they did that. Like they answered that call, right? Like
100%.
If that game that series I went 5 games or 6 games, you'd be like, oh my, they're not ready. Like so, like yes, we don't know just because they haven't been tested, but they did what they should have done. Still, like both things can be true, right? But I see exactly what you're saying. So the fact that they have to play the winner of the Clippers or Mavs, probably the Mavs, that will be a test for them. With Kyrie and Luka playing the way they are, that's gonna be a fast-paced series.
Leave it to the Clippers to extend it, to come home to get blown out.
Oh, well, that's what that's just
that was wild. But that was wild. Like the game they just came off, right? Like they're watching James Harden be vintage James Harden, like balling in the fourth quarter. Give me the ball. I'm gonna score points, and they come home and just lay down, dude. Like them and the Kings. Them and the Kings went to dinner together. Like they went to dinner before these games. Like
I don't know, man. Like if I'm Paul George, like Kawhi Leonard's not playing. Like this is why I'm here. I'm your savior, Clipper land. Right. Like I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna make sure that I score all the points that he was gonna score, and that I'm gonna score, and I'm gonna lead this team to a series victory. Oh, I'm only gonna shoot the ball 13 times and score 13 points. I don't care. I'm just going to pass it away and just let the other guy. What is that? Like that. And people were wondering before the season, last offseason, why didn't the Clippers extend Paul George to a max contract? That's why. That is exactly why we
fire.
And it's playoff George, playoff Pete. That's what we've like. They're comparing him to like Jimmy buckets.
No,
but the dude is not there. He had a great game 4, but when the moment is bright, the lights are shining on you in LA. He shrunk. He shrunk so badly. So though they do have a chance tomorrow night in Game 6, it's possible they bring it back to LA and we can see he could totally change the narrative.
No,
but as of now, you're just doing what the Clippers do, and you're just doing what you've always done your whole career, Paul.
Is Kawhi done?
You're not a winner.
Is Kawhi done for the series? Is he out?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything on Game 6, but it doesn't.
If he doesn't play, it's over. If he doesn't play, it's done.
Yeah,
hands down for me. If he doesn't play, it's done.
Good.
Celtics take out the Heat. Obviously Jimmy Buckets was missing, so
Yeah.
that's to be
Hey,
expected.
Celtics, they lost the one game and we're like, oh no, Celtics. But
Then they
hey
balled.
man, like the
They
rest of it,
balled.
I think they won by like 25 plus points the rest
Yeah.
of the games. Like
I
it
think
was a
I think
blowout.
they noticed like the shellacking they took on social media, and they're like, we can't allow this.
Yeah, we can't allow this again. Like we're gonna win. Like we're the one seed, we're the best team. Like let's at least make it to the second round. And Joe
All right.
Mazzulla is like, thank God, like thank you guys.
Thank you
Because you
so
know he's
much.
stressing.
He was
He's
about to get
stressing.
fired because like
Oh,
the
oh,
other
he would
guy's
have been
gone.
fired the next day. Like
The other guy's gone. The Lakers coach is gone, hands down.
well, well, he's not yet, but he'll be gone.
He'll be gone. He'll be gone. Not that I'm calling for his job. We don't call for jobs here.
No, yeah, but Darvinham, like that's the word around these parts down here in Southern California is
Like
that he's gone.
we just lost to a guy who has like this commercial where he's singing to his teammate. It's just weird. We can't lose another game. Can't lose another game like that. That commercial's so weird. Every time I see it, I'm like, dude, stop this commercial. Stop what
Wait,
a
which
pro
one?
wants, what a pro needs. You haven't
Oh,
seen
dude, that's
this?
the Thunder, bro.
Is
That's
that the Thunder?
that's Shay
Okay, they need to
and
lose. They need to lose. The Thunder need to lose.
oh,
I
I love
can't
that
stand
commercial.
that
I love
commercial.
that commercial.
I'm rooting against you Thunder fans for nothing else other than your commercial.
Why? That's a great
No,
commercial.
terrible commercial.
Like, don't you like you feel it, dude? It's like it
No,
just flows through you, and you want to dance to it. You don't want to dance.
no,
You don't get the
not even a
feeling,
little bit, dude. I hate it.
bro.
I hate it.
What's going on?
I want my playoffs to be like, dude. When I think NBA, you got to think like
It's a
I'm,
car commercial, bro.
but I want like, dude, I want like, if you are gonna have a funny commercial, make it like Mamba style, where like obviously not right now. I don't support him, but what's his name? Where Kobe's sitting he's like standing on top of a podium and he's talking to this dude in the audience. I cannot believe I just blanked on this guy's name. Oh my god, when he's like, you got to be more, and he's like, how can I be more? I've got like 7 platinum records. Like, what else do you want from me? And he's like, more. And he's like, but are you a different beast and the same animal? And he's like, what does it even mean, Kobe Bryant? Like I want, if you're gonna be funny, like be intense. I don't know. It was weird to me. It was weird to me.
Hey, man, it's okay. We'll agree.
Do you
to
know the
disagree on
commercial I'm
that.
talking about? Do you know the commercial I'm talking about though?
I've probably seen it so many times, but
Hey, Kobe's talking to
anything
I,
with Kobe, it just it makes me sad. So I probably blocked it out because I just
I'm
don't
sorry.
want
I'm
to.
sorry. All right.
I did bring out. So this is a tradition of mine since I was a child or teenager, actually. So every time my teams would make the playoffs, like I would bring out a jersey and like put it on the mantle, and like my mom would not like it because my mom was like, "You got to clean, like you have to leave this house spick and span." And I was like, "No, I'm leaving my Dodger." Like when the Dodgers made the playoffs when I was a teen, like they get swept all the time. So it wasn't out there for long. But I bring my Laker jersey out, and that's when the Lakers were good. So, anyways, so I still do that tradition to this day. So I brought my Kobe jersey out, and I was like, "Dang it, dude! Dang it, Kobe Bryant! Why, Kobe? Why?" But you know what? I cannot wait until Oliver's older and until he like appreciate like or understands basketball. I
You
should
like
say.
2 candles, one for you, one for Oliver.
Well, just to show him Kobe Bryant highlights.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait to like show him who he was, like the Mamba.
Kids still yell it in baseball. Like it's like they don't even know who he is, and kids are like sitting on like shooting at the bucket with the baseball. Kobe, like it's still around.
Like he coined Kobe.
Right.
Whatever you're doing, it's like, yeah, I can't wait. So I just put the Kobe jersey away yesterday, actually. But dang it, Lakers. Dang it,
Lakers.
Dang it, Darvin Ham. Dang it, LeBron. You know what? I don't. Here's the thing. I'll say this: Darvin Ham. He's a young coach, right? He's only his second year as being a head coach. Like, there's a learning curve here, and there were some bad rotations. There was some timeouts that he didn't call, or some challenges that he should. Like, I'm not taking any blame away from Darvin Ham. Okay, like he deserves his portion of the blame, and yes, he's going to get fired. But LeBron James, he is taking no flack from anyone in the media. And I really don't care about his spectacular on the offensive side of the ball. I really don't, because he's making $55 million per year. He's going to score the basketball, as we all know. But what he's not taking flack for, and I do not understand why the media is not getting on him, in game 5, he gave up like 3 offensive rebounds in the biggest one when there was 1 minute left and the Lakers were up by 2. Jokic missed a shot and he refuses to box out Aaron Gordon for like what? You texted it. How many times was he not guarding Aaron Gordon throughout the whole series?
Yeah.
Refuses to box him out. Aaron Gordon just slaps the ball out to the 3-pointer. Michael Porter Jr. sinks a 3. They're down by 1. I think that was the dagger before Jamal Murray's actual dagger. I do not understand the passes, how many passes he gets for not playing defense. I don't. Austin Reeves,
at some point you got to stop helping.
Austin Reeves sucks at defense. But at least he freaking tries. That's the one thing. He gives his whole heart. He slowed down. He slowed down Jamal Murray. He really did. Jamal Murray did not have a good series until Game 5. He did not.
Right.
But LeBron continuously let Aaron Gordon look like an all-pro first-team NBA player this series. And it's disgusting and embarrassing. And I do not want LeBron back on this team. I don't. It's terrible. And now the reports are that they're going to draft his son to keep him here. Like, get out. You're not bigger than the Lakers, LeBron. You're not. And he's acting like that. And Jeannie Buss needs to take control back. Like, her dad would be so pissed off. Jerry Buss would not let LeBron take control of this franchise. There's no way.
Anthony, all we need to say is Anthony Davis. Like, you talk about people giving LeBron James a pass. Anthony Davis was the best player in the series. Like, for the Lakers.
For the Lakers, yes.
Period. Anthony Davis was the best Laker in the series. I mean, when he had a bad half, we lost. And every time he went away, we lost. And that was it. As soon as his shoulder, as soon as that freak thing happened with his shoulder, I was like,
that was weird.
It's over. Yeah. We lost. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So, and I agree. So I was like sitting there, I was like, dude, look, I'm not going to pretend to be this basketball aficionado, but at some point you got to stop switching. You got to tell the guys like, hey, look, my guy's getting bored. It's like, you guys got to do this. Like, you guys got to help because I can't. Because Gordon is tearing me up. And if that's the case, as I hear somebody making the argument like, oh, you're switching to help. It's like, then stop switching. Like, who cares if let that other guy go. But Gordon is tearing us up. I agree with you 100%. I haven't watched much of the Cavs Magic series, but it's close. Cleveland 3-2. So
it's a 4-5. It's a classic 4-5 series.
And the Pacers
I'm pulling for the Magic just because the Magic, just haven't had that much luck. They're not really a magical franchise, as you would say.
Ever since they let Shaq go, that was it. That was pretty much it.
I know. And Penny Hardaway.
And they made it back once with Howard, but the Lakers were just like, nah.
Kobe's like, no.
No. That didn't even look like a series. That was bad.
Yeah. And then tonight we had the Knicks beating the Sixers. And, I see a lot of stuff like on ESPN and people are kind of bagging on the Knicks saying, oh, how did they let this even go 6 games? But in reality, the Sixers are like a 3 or 4 seed. Like, Embiid missed 40 games this year, and that's when they dipped. That's why they slumped in the standings. Right. And now Embiid was back. They had their whole team was healthy. Maxi's playing like out of his mind. And they beat a 3 or 4. I think it actually benefits them that they got the Sixers in this first round because it kind of toughens them up for the next couple of rounds.
Right.
They're not a 7 seed. And
the Pacers are coming
impressive
to play.
that they won tonight in Philadelphia. They closed it out on the road.
Right. Because the Pacers are coming to play. They just beat the Bucks. Granted, the Bucks didn't have obviously their best player, but hey, they still beat them.
Right. The Pacers are good, man.
So they're gonna have a fight on their hands. Embiid, I will say, Embiid is like quickly becoming one of. I'm not gonna pretend to be an NBA aficionado, but Embiid is quickly becoming one of my least favorite players. Like watching that guy just fall around. I'm like, dude, he falls on every play. I'm like, dude, could you get up? Like, could you dunk and then not fall?
You know how big he is, though. Like, you see how big he is. Like, I don't know, man.
I
don't know if I'd be able to, keep
get some
knee
up. Braces. Get some like braces,
bro. He has knee braces on. He's got like 3 torn ACLs, dude.
Oh my god, he's on like 80-year-old knees.
That's Embiid's thing. Like he's always been hurt, and it sucks because he's so good. But he's a big dude. Like he should probably lose some weight. I bet you would help. But
go vegan. Go vegan. Be one of those guys. The Chris Paul route. Revitalize your career.
No. How about the Tom Brady route?
There you go.
Like come on.
Chris Marry Paul, Giselle. Then she's going to leave you in a few years.
The diet of Tom Brady. Good Lord. Come on. Just kidding. Man. Come on.
And she's going to leave you in a while for her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, she's got 6 championships. 7.
Well, and 2 great kids. However many was.
That's right.
So, win-win. you know.
Yeah,
But
win-win.
yeah, it's gonna be good. And we'll see who comes out. I think it is gonna be the Mavericks. I do think the Mavericks are gonna give Thunder all they can handle. I think the Timberwolves and Nuggets gonna be great. Celtics and whoever comes out of that's gonna be good. Who you got? Who you got? Just for fun, Big Z. I mean, come on. Who do you got in your Western Conference Finals?
Well, last week I said Nuggets. But
Okay.
after just like watching them for like intently, obviously against the Lakers, I just don't think I think the T Wolves are going to beat them.
T-Wolves, baby. I'm with you. Let's go.
And so and then I'm going to go to I'm riding the T Wolf train. I'll give Mitchie credit. Last week he kind of convinced me
He
a little
called it.
bit.
He called
And
it.
yeah, he did. And then the more I watched them, I was like, yeah, that's a good team, like an all around team. Like they have a lot of good pieces. And so, because the rest of the teams that are left in the West are just very top heavy, but the T Wolves have a bench, a really good bench. And so that's why I think, and they're young. So that's why I'm picking with them. I'm sticking with the Knicks over the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just think it'd be cool for the Knicks to make the finals again. And then I'm gonna go Knicks over T Wolves for the NBA championship.
Oof.
I'm not a betting
Oof.
man, but if I were and I won that bet, I'd be making a lot of money because the odds of that happening are very slim. But I'm going with it. That's why I'm not a betting man. And I can just say crazy things and not lose any money.
Subject to change after every round. Just so
That's
we have
right. That's right.
We're gonna adjust.
That's what we do here at Brevity.
That's right. That's right. I got the Mavericks still. I like the Mavericks a lot. I think the Mavericks and the Timberwolves going to make a heck of a Western Conference final. I don't know who's going to win, so I'm gonna wait. Okay. But I'll tell you what, it's gonna be the Mavericks and the Timberwolves, and then I think it'll be Celtics Knicks. I do think the Knicks have what it takes.
Let's
go right along. Okay, listen, if you're not watching hockey, I told you it was going to be fun. I told you it was going to be great. If you're a Kings fan, you're with me, weeping, watching them lose to a subpar Edmond team who really didn't even play that well. But here we are. And I told you that Colorado was going to beat Winnipeg. I told you that. I told you Colorado was easily the best lower seed in the playoffs.
Yep.
I told you they had, I think, the most top 20 NHL players by a large margin. And that's exactly what they played like. They dominated Winnipeg. They are going to get the winner of Dallas and Vegas. And what's been going on there is very interesting. Vegas came out and took a 2-0 lead. And Dallas has come back and won 3 in a row. So one more, they accomplished the reverse sweep. So keeping our eyes on that. And then obviously Vancouver, Nashville, just tough as nails. You been watching anything from the West, Big Z?
Yeah, I've been watching Vancouver, Nashville. It's such a sad ending in game 4. Nashville was down 2-1 in the series, and they were up by 1 goal.
Yep.
And they gave up the goal with like 6 seconds left. And I was like, that is so depressing. And then they lost in overtime.
Dagger.
Like, that is so harsh, man. It's such a heartbreaking loss. Hey, but they came back. They won in game 5 on the road, which is pretty impressive.
Yep.
My boy George Kittle was in Nashville for game 3. So that's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll Nashville. Woo. But you know, I watched all the Kings games. It just I don't know, man. Like I said, like everyone knows I'm not a hockey guy. Like I don't know what I'm talking about probably, but they just have no offense. Like it's just very frustrating. Like there was never a time, like every time they score, you're like, oh wow, they actually were able to score. Yeah. Like there's no playmaker, no one able to like kind of dice it up and figure out they don't have a McDavid or a Draisaitl, guys who just you saw every single time that McDavid would, skate with the puck, like he was setting someone else up every single time. But the Kings, it just looks like a lot of guys who were kind of scared to shoot. And there just wasn't any rhythm on that offense. And every time they had a power play, you're like, well, they're not going to score because they just don't have that guy. They don't have that killer. And I just think that, I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but they probably need to go in a different direction. Like, we love Doughty, right? We love Kopitar, but like maybe it's time to get another leader here.
They have one guy, and he's the only reason they won one game. Kempe.
Yeah,
he's our guy, and that's who they need to start building around. Hands down, he's the dude. He's your future. Him and Quentin Byfield had a great series.
Right, Byfield, he's a young guy.
Was a rookie last year. Second, so he's an absolute dog. He was an absolute stud. He was the only one who actually got hits on Connor McDavid. But I mean, to your point, Connor McDavid is the best player in the league. He has been for a few years now, so he's going to do what he wants. But again, Edmonton, the most disappointing part was watching Edmonton and realizing, like, last year, I did feel like we were outmatched. This year, I was like, dude, Edmonton's not even that good, and I still felt outmatched. It's time. We got to make some big changes. I'm talking about possibly switching to C. I love Kopitar. I literally have an animal at my house named after Kopitar. And I think it's time. Give Kempe the C. Let him be the leader. Pay him his money. Keep him a long, long time. And also stop with the goalie. All right, we have a goal. We have a goaltender playing for the Rain right now. Absolute dog. Let's bring that kid up. Let's get a young guy in there. Let's see what he's got. Let's start rebuilding. Kings, do what you got to do, because we can't just keep losing the Oilers. I agree with you. Nashville, Vancouver. It's been a really fun series to watch. That was a heartbreaking loss for them. So sad.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch. It was honestly almost as tough as the Islanders. The Islanders. I don't know. I just said that. Super weird. I watched the Islanders. They were up by a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they gave up the game tying goal with like a minute and a half, and they gave up the game winning goal like 10 seconds later. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. I told you the Rangers were for real. I told you they had no hold in their game. I told you I wasn't taking any shots at Ovechkin.
Well,
but the Rangers is good.
You're right, but you know who they're going to run to the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Oh boy,
My Panthers. My Panthers.
My Panthers. The Panthers. The Panthers
Florida
got their
Panthers.
one.
Dude, they shut out the series. They won 6-1 in game 5. They're like, okay, we'll give you a win. Okay, now we're going to squash your hopes and dreams. We're going to score 6 goals on you. You suck. We're going all the way back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And now they're my team, dude. They're the squad. They're Big Z squad. I'm jumping on the Florida Panthers bandwagon. Let's go. They were cheated out last year well, not really cheated out. They lost last year. But this year, they're gonna win the Stanley Cup Finals.
I'll tell you what,
bring the Stanley Cup to Florida, the state of Florida. I don't know why there's a hockey team.
Stanley Cup is definitely going to whatever team comes out of the West, unless we beat the crap out of ourselves, which does make sense. But so you, Big Z, keep hoping, I'm with you.
Bro,
I love it. Bro,
come on,
it's gonna happen.
Let's go.
I will say, if Toronto wins the series, I'm definitely pulling for Toronto. I like their fans. I was watching a video in black and white of the last time these guys won a Stanley Cup. The video is literally in black and white, like the highlight of their last Stanley Cup win.
What do you have against Vancouver if they beat the Preds?
What do I have?
They're Canada too.
I can't like the Canucks. I don't like the Canucks.
Oh, just because they're in the West.
Yeah, I hate everybody in the West. I'm a Kings fan. Everybody in the West can just be awful. Like that is just it. If I had to pick one team out of the West, I was like, okay, probably Dallas. Like probably I don't. Yeah, I could probably get behind Dallas.
Like their fans.
Right. Yeah, they're a good young team. Like I like them.
You know why I like them? Because last year you told me they're like the 76ers of the NHL, like a team that is just always underperforms. And I also like them because they don't freaking like succumb to all the pressure of all the Dallas teams. Like all the Dallas teams are like blue and white. They're like, no, we're green and white. Okay. Like we have a star and we're going to do our own thing. Like, I don't care about the Cowboys play across the street. We're going to do our own thing, have our own colors. We're not owned by the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't run this organization. I love it. They're their own. They have their own identity. Go Dallas for the West. That's right. Let's go.
That's right, baby. I get behind Dallas.
Beat the Golden Knights.
Beat the Golden Knights and take out Colorado. Represent the West in the final. I really do think Dallas has a great shot to be the team that comes out of the West. I really believe that. I said it before the playoffs. They're great. Yeah. Come out of the West. And then on the East side, I still think the Rangers. The Rangers are really, really good, man. Like, I was watching some of those games. And granted, I'll give you, like you said, a couple of the games were close, right? They won game 3-4, 1-4, 3-1, 4-2. And watching them, it never even felt. That was probably, I will say, the Washington is like the one team. Washington, the Islanders, and the Kings are like the three teams that just did not show up for this thing. They just did not show up, and it was pretty obvious. So, hey, kudos to them. But I think you will see a Rangers, and Florida is sitting there. Your team is sitting there loving this. The fact that Boston and Toronto are headed to Game 7. Oh, they're just like, yeah, let's keep playing. Keep beating the tar out of each other.
Yourselves up, yeah.
Like, this isn't like football where it's just like, football, it's like momentum, right? Like, you see the wild card team, they have to play maybe one more game, but it doesn't really matter because they have all the momentum coming in.
Yeah.
Or even sort of baseball, where it's like they have all the momentum coming in. Hockey is not like that. Hockey is like, you want that time because this is such a physical sport, right? You're watching these teams give everything they got, hit each other. Like, there's every night you play, there's a chance your best play, that's 10 more hits Your best player has to take because everybody's getting hit in the playoffs. So Kachuk is just sitting there waiting to chuck. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
waiting to
Oh,
chuck.
Kachuk.
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 Kachuk. He's waiting to Kachuk.
Kachuk.
We're bringing it back. Kachuk is waiting to Kachuk. We love it. Love it.
I
We love
love
it.
it.
Love it. So who do you got in the way? Who do you got? Who do you got coming? Who do you got in your finals? Big Z is still. You going with the same picks? Who you going with?
No, I'm changing. I'm going, well, Florida, of course. Florida, of course. Panthers. Rawr.
Panthers.
And Dallas Stars, baby.
All right. All right. I got Dallas and I got the Rangers. I don't know who's going to win that. You're going to have to wait and join us next week or maybe even the week after to figure that out, depending on that timeline. Jumping over to the king of all sports, Patrick Mahomes gets his boy back, Big Z. Gets his boy back. Said he wasn't going to ever let him go. He gets back. Travis Kelce, which apparently we learned this year, he is now in that class of person that just because he's going to tear it up in the playoffs does not mean you should count on him for the regular season. If you play fantasy football, you know what I'm talking about. I will not be drafting Travis Kelce the top 3 rounds. That will not happen. Heard it here first.
I agree. I agree. Let's so for his contract, he was actually just given a raise. Like, so he actually had 2 years left on his contract.
Wow.
And so they just gave him more money for the 2 years. Like they didn't extend him because they didn't want him to follow in his brother's footsteps. Like, dude, don't retire. Like, we know,
no retire.
Please don't retire. We just won another Super Bowl, but like we still need your greatness in the playoffs, please. And so it's like, all right. So now he's the highest paid tight end, right? He has that crown.
Right.
I can't hate against it. Like, even though he yelled at his coach and shoved his coach on national TV for the whole world to see, which is annoying. But other than that, terrible disrespect.
Yeah.
He is the best tight end when the big lights turn on. Like he is. He was
unstoppable in the playoffs. He was in the playoff run. It's like he was like, all right.
He was unstoppable once Dre Greenlaw got hurt in the Super Bowl. But whatever. Let's.
I'm sorry, Big Z. I'm sorry.
But yeah, man, good for him. Good for Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he's stoked about that. I'm super stoked for their new wide receiver. I think that he's going to be super good. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He's going to be great.
He's faster than Tyreek Hill.
Well, now, I mean, and they have Hollywood Brown on the other side, so they're they're set up.
Yeah, they're set.
They're going to be dangerous, man.
You get Patrick. I mean, he can win without receivers. So I mean, now watch out.
Najee Harris, Mitch's boy, declined 5th-year option. That's exciting.
That's crazy. I mean, he's the only Steeler in Steeler history to have three seasons of 1,000 plus rushing yards, and they're going to decline. I don't know, man. Like, you're gonna have Jaylen Warren be your guy. It's like when the Cowboys gave Tony Pollard like that job, the starting job. So we'll see. I mean, doesn't mean that he won't come back like he saw us this year, but next year was declined, the 2025 season. So we'll see there. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Did you see that they're contemplating putting Justin Fields as their punt returner?
I don't know what Pittsburgh is doing.
Like,
if I'm a Pittsburgh fan,
is Justin Fields done as a quarterback?
He can't be. That would be the most ridiculous thing in my life if he was done being quarterback. Like, he had good games with the Bears, and everything to see this year, the Bears are still going to Bears. Like, I don't know why the Bears think that they're just going to have like this an incredible year. You're still the Bears. Like, the idea that the Bears are going to finish like 11-6, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. If you finish 9-8, I think that's a win. Yeah, that's where I'm at with them.
I think wild card expectation, like, that should be like your peak. Like,
you have to make the you have to make the playoffs.
You may make the wild card there,
but with the roster they've assembled, if Caleb Williams is the dude that everybody's talking about, you have to make the playoffs. You have to.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. So, 100%.
I'm just saying that, but
yeah.
I still think the Bears are. I really do think the Bears are. I mean, hey, the bright side, if you're a Bears fan, like, you're not the Falcons, right? Like that pick, the more I've heard about it and I like him. I like him a lot. The quarterback.
I do too.
I like Penix.
It's odd.
It's just a weird pick for them. Like, I think now knowing, like, dude, let him go to the Raiders. Like, the Raiders actually could have used him, and I don't like the Raiders. But the Raiders, he's probably the guy this year with Minshew backing him up. I know they have that one kid, but I mean, he's a talent. And now the Falcons, it's like, and then they're sort of their excuse. I know we're behind on this, but it happened since our last podcast. And then their excuse that, well, we're trying to recreate what Green Bay had. Like, what? Like, Jordan Love was young when that decision was made,
Right.
right? So
Penix
he
is
was
what,
20.
24 already?
Yeah. So he can't start until he's 28.
Right.
28, according to this contract. So really, if you're a Falcons fan, you got to hope that Kirk Cousins balls in such a fashion that somebody's willing to take on this ridiculously large contract for Kirk Cousins, that somebody's missing a quarterback and that they will be desperate enough to take on a Kirk Cousins, and then you get Michael Penix in there. Man, if I'm that owner, I mean, we saw in the video, he went over to the GM, like, what are we doing?
He's like, dude, what is going on here? I mean, even Kirk Cousins is like a very mild-mannered guy.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, what the
even
heck?
he was upset,
Yeah.
And so, like, it's odd to me. Like, we're not trashing Michael Penix here. Like, I think like Michael Penix, quarterback. I think that he can be great in this league.
But that's the point. But I think he's ready to start right now. That's my issue.
Franchise,
yeah,
as a franchise, like, you just gave $100 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins, and you could earn up to $180 million with a 4-year contract. Like, what are you doing? Like, that you're creating a controversy. You're creating potential competition. Maybe the first or maybe the second year into that contract, it doesn't look good to Kirk Cousins. Like, it's like, I thought you were loyal to me. I thought you were investing in me. What are you doing? And so, like, then it came out, like, they tried to squash it. Like, oh yeah, Michael Penix called Kirk Cousins and they had a great conversation. But in the back of Kirk's head, it's like, dude, like, if one thing goes wrong here, like, I'm going to be asking out. But again, good luck trading that contract, because he's just coming off of an Achilles injury. That was definitely the most interesting move. Like, I said it, I thought the Giants should have gotten Penix. Like, you got to move off Daniel Jones. Like, of course they got, the great quarterback or wide receiver, but I don't know, man. That was a weird move for sure.
I think that's the reason that we have sort of an issue with it, is that we expect Penix to be. He was one of the few pocket passers I thought he can learn a system and he can get in there tomorrow.
Right.
Washington had a pro style offense. That is what they had. And so the idea that you're just going to let this kid sit, I just didn't like it.
Right.
I just didn't like it. I thought a couple teams had a great draft, like the Rams. I thought they did really well. Bo Nix went a lot early. Dude, I'm a Bo Nix guy. I'm a Bo Nix guy. And he went so much earlier than I thought, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him at all. I just think that I just don't think he's the guy to carry that Broncos team how it's currently constructed. Like, I don't think that he's the guy to carry them through a rebuild, man. Like,
nobody's that guy. That's the problem. Is nobody's that guy.
One reason why we loved Brock Purdy is because he started so many games in college.
Right.
He started all 4 years, and that's what Bo Nix did. Like, he started the most games ever in college history as a quarterback. And so he does have that maturity there, and I'll give him that. 100%. Like, that's a huge thing that people overlook. It's just how Sean Payton managed the whole Russell Wilson thing. Yeah, Russell had something to do with it, but Russell also had a pretty decent season last year.
Makes me nervous.
And Sean Payton was like, nah, it's all on him. It's nothing to do with me. That's not my guy.
That guy's terrible.
And it was just like deflect. And it's like, you hope he doesn't do that to a young quarterback, or, well, an older quarterback, but a rookie quarterback who's just getting his bearings into the NFL,
Right. He's probably the best quarterback in that room right now. Like, I'll say that. And coming out of college, he's got to be your start. How high you went to get him, it is expected that he will start this next year. And that to me is where I'm slightly nervous. I do believe in him slightly more than you do. I've been very frank with that. I really did like him at Oregon. I thought he did all the things he needed to do. I thought he put them into a position to compete week in and week out. I watched him quite a bit. I like Bo Nix. I did not think that he was going to, what did he go? Number 10 overall? I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest about that. I didn't think, oh no, JJ McCarthy went number 10. I'm sorry. He went number 12. So I don't know if he's that guy. Even JJ going number 10. I mean, good for the Vikings if they really believe that he's that dude. Boy, I don't, man. All right.
Yeah,
We're going to see.
mm,
JJ won. Like, I'm not going to take it from him. I'm not going to be one of those guys that sits here and poops on him for winning, but he did it. I mean, man, he did it inside of a system that was very run heavy. So, we're going to see how it goes because
very run. Yeah, like we said last week, like wasn't, he would never put the ball in his hands to win that game,
no,
to win any
no.
games. Like
And Harbaugh
the
could sit here and
run.
say, right, Harbaugh could sit here and say all day, oh, he's one of the best. He's this and that is, but that's not what you showed. The way that you coached Michigan last year, you were so dependent on your running backs, so dependent on dink
Right.
and dimes, dink and dunks, rolling them out. I just don't know. I'll tell you who I did like. I really, really, really like what the Washington Commanders are doing. I really like Jaden Daniels. I think he's a
too.
dog.
Yep.
And if there is an injury concern, what do they do? And just sneakily, they should go grab Sam Howell.
Right.
Somebody not drafted out of Notre Dame. I love it. I love what Washington is doing. It makes a lot of sense to me. Hey,
Right.
we're going to protect. We got rid of Sam Howell, or we got rid of the old Howell, Hartman, Sam Hartman. That's why I was like, wait, what?
Sam Howell,
They got rid of Sam Howell, and now they signed Sam Hartman from Notre Dame. They're protecting their pick. I said, we did get this guy number 2, but we have a quarterback regardless that we think can start. Because again, Sam Hartman, that's another guy. Played for Wake Forest, then went over to Notre Dame, played all 4 years, very mature. I think he's ready to go tomorrow, right? Jaden Daniels is obviously the guy, right? He's obviously to do the expected to start for this team. He's very talented, but they are protecting themselves. And then obviously for me, dude, I don't know. I know there is a lot of Patriots fans that were acting very, very excited at this news about Drake May. I don't get it. You don't have a team yet.
That's why we were advocates about trading down. You could have gotten JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings, apparently they offered both their first round picks and next year's first round pick to move up into the Patriots spot, the 3rd overall.
Why would you not do that?
You would have had the 11th, the 24th this year in the first round, and then next year a first round pick or wherever the Vikings landed. You could have had JJ McCarthy, and then you could have had another stud on offense that you could have gotten at 24. And then next year you could have added another guy, build around the quarterback. They just don't have the roster.
Right.
Like with all these guys, it's always about where they land. Like Patrick Mahomes would not be this successful if he didn't land with Andy Reid. Brock Purdy would not be successful if he didn't. Well, not this successful if he didn't land in San Francisco. Dak Prescott, if he didn't land in, it's everywhere, right? It's where you land, and that's why so many guys flop. Like Bryce Young, look, yeah, he was first overall, but there was no roster. Like that's the worst roster overall, 100%. And he failed because there's just no one around him to uplift his talents. And so that's what I fear is going to happen for Drake May. Like I hear that they're trying to do some trades, like draft picks next year and stuff. I heard they're trying to get Ayuk or Debo from the Niners. But you have to give them weapons. Like when, like even Ezekiel Elliott is gone. Like he led their team in receptions last year. Like they couldn't even resign him. And so I don't know, man. I have a bad feeling that it's just going to be short-lived, and especially since Gerard Mayo is a defensive-minded head coach.
He really could have used to me, he really could have used, if you're the Patriots, you 100% botch this.
Yeah.
You trade down to number 10, you get an absolutely developed pocket passer in Michael Penix. You get Penix, who is without question to me the best pocket passer in this draft. I know a lot of people think it's Drake May. It's not.
Well, he would have been gone though. Like
he would have been gone. But again, even if he's not, look at what they did in college.
Well, if he wasn't gone, yeah, of course you take him. But like at that point, if they traded with the Vikings, it would have been 11 and 24. JJ McCarthy would have been there. At least you could have had some guy who's some semblance of like a okay quarterback in college, right?
Right.
And then with the 24, get another offensive stud to build around it. Like start the rebuild there.
They botched it.
Regardless, they botched it. Yes, 100%.
Because Drake May is not going to just turn your offensive around. He's
not.
No,
he's not. And he played in the ACC.
Was North Carolina. Like
the ACC is not a powerhouse conference.
It's just not. It's just not.
You know what? I was interested. Talking about Michigan guys. Your Rams took Blake Corum, their running back, like the guy that they won games with, right? That was why they won the championship. How do you feel about that, man? Like, because Kyron Williams had a breakout year last year.
I love it.
I
I
think so.
think
I think it's
I
great.
think for fantasy, this is awful. Like if we're
Oh,
talking
it's
the
terrible for
fan,
fantasy. It's
if we're
terrible for
talking about the
fantasy.
fantasy football, this is terrible. Like if you went out and got Kyron last year in Dynasty, and you're thinking like, I did it. I got the
Right.
steal of the century.
Yep.
I traded Kyron Williams for a fifth. Look at me. Like whatever it was, like whatever trade you made, you were feeling so good. You were like, this is going to be the guy for years. But if you watched this boy's days at Michigan, there is going to be look, it's not going to start that way. I think at the start of the year, I think if you're Kyron Williams,
Kyron's backfield right
it's
now.
Kyron's backfield right now. But by the end of the year, it is going to be a split. And I think Kyron's going to get behind it because I think the new style of running back, it's not like it used to be where this is my backfield. I think these boys really do like each other and they really do support each other because they know there is longevity in having a partner in the backfield, right? Outside of like a Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey, like those dudes have shown they can carry the load. Those guys are the rarities in football. Most of these guys are benefited by having another guy next to them, which is why running backs aren't getting paid as much as they maybe think they do or deserve. That's not the argument here, but for the Rams purposes, I love it. It's another weapon. You're telling me we got another weapon next to Nakua, next to Cup, next to, name that Kyron, next to those players with Matt Stafford behind there. I love it. As a Rams fan, I 100% love it. And I think it was a steal. Where we got him,
I think so.
absolute shiest. I love it. If you're a fantasy football owner, this sucks. This sucks for you. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's awful. It's awful.
But, whatever. I like the Niners. I think Ricky Pearsall, their first round wide receiver pick, people are like, oh, they got him to replace Debo. I don't think so. You put him in the slot, or put him on the outside. You put Debo in the slot.
I think look at last year. Look at last year.
He's 190 pounds. Yeah, and Debo gets hurt a lot. Like
I was gonna say, I think it's a conversation. It's the same conversation you had with Travis Kelce. Clearly, that the Chiefs had with him. Hey, buddy, don't worry about the regular season. We know what you can do.
Exactly.
We need you to ball in the playoffs. Debo, you're not paying him that money to ball in the regular season.
No,
you're not paying him to be the MVP. It's Debo. No. Hey, bud, and if anybody can do this, it's Shanahan. By the way, the best coach in the NFL, arguably. Sorry, Reed. My bad. I didn't mean to disrespect you like that. Reed is obviously the best coach right now.
I would say
they're right. They're right there. I'm giving Reed his respect.
Have to.
Yeah, I have to give him respect. One of the best coaches in the NFL. He goes to Debo. He's like, hey, Debo, I'm really tired of not being able to use you in the playoffs like I'd really, really like to. So we're going to go and use this rookie. And come the playoffs, like maybe we'll get you your plays. Don't worry. You're going to touch the ball 5-6 times, maybe a game. Right. But you are not going to be the workhorse. We don't need you to be. We just don't. It's the same thing as Christian McCaffrey. You're not going to. Did he break records last year? Yes, because he's just that good. Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing with CMC. They worked other people in. They gave the ball to Debo. They gave the ball by Ayuk. They're giving the ball to your boy Kittle. Spread it around. Spread around the love. Again, this is terrible for fantasy football. I think it's great for the Niners. I think it's another mouth to beat.
I love it. He's a big guy, 6'1", 190. Like
you love
it. Great at Florida and in a great college football conference, the SEC. Actually played real teams as opposed to Drake May. I think it was good, and I'm glad that the Niners didn't trade every year around the draft is like, oh, they're going to trade Debo, and this year's like, oh, they're going to trade Ayuk. Like all this chatter, man. It's like it's so dumb. It's like,
and the worst part before we end this, like I just have to. I'm like looking at this. It's even worse for the Patriots. I know we were just talking about the Niners, but it's even worse for the Patriots than you think. Because look at number 3, right? They took Drake May. All right, let's say they traded the Cardinals. Do you think the Cardinals take Drake May? No, they already have Murray. They're not going to take him. Right? Do you think the Chargers are going to take Drake May? No. They already have Herbert. They're not taking him. You think the Giants take him? That's the first spot. You're like, oh, maybe the Giants take him, but they take Neighbors, right? Tennessee's not taking him. They think they got their guy. So maybe the Falcons do because they obviously took Michael Penix, but the Patriots botched this. Unlike the Niners, unlike the Rams, I think our teams had great drafts. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Patriots botched this, dude. They botched this.
They did.
Any other takeaways? Any other last minute NFL takeaways, Big Z?
I just can't wait for it. I can't.
Come back. NFL come back.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. Just the NFL is just king.
In other news, landing the plane, Verstappen is a dog. He's got 110 points. He is taking this thing home. Red Bull's going to win the Constructors' Cup. It's going to happen. Verstappen, the only thing that can stop Verstappen in his car. Perez, way less impressive. I don't know that he's going to be able to keep the Red Bull car, so let's keep our eyes on that. Hamilton is already going to be in the Ferrari car, which Ferrari, If I'm watching Sainz drive right now, okay, check this out. Leclerc is Sainz teammate. Okay,
Okay.
Leclerc has
Okay.
76 points. Sainz has 69 points. Okay,
Okay.
first place gets like 20 points, and then it drops from there. Okay,
Okay.
Sainz missed a race. All right, his, he already has 3 podiums and 1 win, as opposed to Leclerc has 0 wins and only 2 podiums. So you have to imagine in the races we've seen, and I believe there's been 5 or 6. Okay, so there's not been that many races from the races we've seen. This dude's been on the podium. There's 5 because Verstappen has 4 wins, 4 podiums. He was out 1 race. Okay, so
Okay.
that was the one
Okay.
race. There's been 5 races. So in 5 races, Sainz has podiumed in 3 of them. Okay,
Wow.
that's amazing. Okay, Leclerc's only done 2, and you got to imagine if he was able to race because he missed a race, he's ahead of his teammate, and yet this is the guy that Ferrari just let go for Hamilton. And the other problem is the Sainz and Leclerc have a great relationship.
Yeah.
They have a really great relationship. It took them a little bit. They butted heads initially, but I don't know what they're doing. And for Hamilton complaining as much as he is, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Lando Norris having a great season. He's a fan favorite. Piastri right behind him. Regardless, F1 has been exciting to watch. I don't care what anybody says. I like watching Verstappen dominate just because I like seeing greatness. Just like, when Hamilton was winning, I wasn't nearly as much of a fan, so I didn't enjoy it. But it's fun to watch. I like watching all the races around it. Big Z, this has been fun. Say bye to the people.
People, I'm going to give you a random fact today.
Here we go.
Okay.
Boom.
This
Hit us with
is
it.
a today in sports history, May
Here we go.
2nd. All right. And this is just that shows you how different baseball is nowadays
Yes.
compared to back then. 1923, May 2nd, 1923. Washington Senator pitcher Walter Johnson pitches his 100th shutout of his career and beats the Yankees 3-0. His pitches his 100th shutout. Like, if you're lucky in today's MLB, like you're getting like maybe 10 shutouts in your whole career, like because you're not allowed to go nine innings anymore. Like that's just insane. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I miss that about MLB. I miss guys going the distance. So that's your today in sports history fun facts, and maybe I'll keep throwing those at you guys. But
you definitely
hope you guys have a
great
week. Hope you guys have a great week, a good weekend. Do something fun. Tune into F1 because it's cool. It's fun. You watch the cars go around and go through the awesome.
They actually make turns both ways. It's
yeah, exactly. It's not just like a circle like NASCAR. They actually go through like cities and they do cool stunts. So I hope you guys have a great week. Please like our stuff on YouTube. It really helps us out. That's, if anything, like that's the biggest thing. Like that is it. Like it. Love you guys. Thank you.
Like it. The AL East is really good. The Orioles are on top again. They caught the Yankees. That's wild. And the NL West is really, really bad, except for the Dodgers. Those are my final thoughts. Hope y'all have a great night. Like all our stuff. Check us out again. Tell your friends, tell your family. We are Brevity Sports. Thanks for joining.